welcome back from that break. It's still 95.7. You studied the unique and persuasive station. And it says Tech Talk Wednesday on your dialing frequency 95.7. My name is Fumi. Like I did say, that Kazeem is in the building and he'll be the one to take you through today's topic. He told me that today's topic is about hybrid cloud, or is it hybrid clouding?
It's about hybrid cloud.
All right. Good afternoon. Good to see you again after a very long time.
Yeah, same here. Same here. So, good afternoon, everybody listening, and good afternoon, everyone joining us online as well. So, you're welcome to today's episode of the Tech Talk Show with me, Kazeem. And today we're going to be talking, like Fumi mentioned, hybrid cloud, which is a topic that has been creating a lot of buzz today in the tech world. So what does hybrid cloud mean? With all of these different terminologies now, hybrid cloud, private cloud. So what does all of this terminology really means? So, well, I have with me on today's episode, Jide Jimoh, to walk us through all of the whole idea behind hybrid cloud. You're welcome on the Tech Talk Show this afternoon, Jide.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jide. So let's get straight at it, Jide. So I want us to start with an introduction of who you are first before we delve into the topic proper today.
Okay, great. My name is Jide Jimoh. I'm a cloud solution architect with Microsoft Nigeria, and my focus is on application and infrastructure. I've got over almost a decade experience in cloud computing and still counting.
Yeah. Okay, Jide, the popularity of cloud computing these days has led to a diverse set of cloud technologies. We now have different paradigms, different terminologies. Some of these terminologies will tend to confuse an average person, what public cloud means, what private cloud means, and now we're talking hybrid cloud. So just to introduce and begin with the topic of today, can you help us understand what hybrid cloud means and the difference between hybrid cloud, private cloud, and public cloud, Jide?
Okay, great. Now let's dive into what a private cloud is. That's basically your own cloud environment built for your organization for the purpose of serving your customers or for the purpose of services. It's owned by you, managed by you, and then basically you do all the update and everything on top of that. If we look at what the public cloud gives you, then now we're not looking at getting you into a public environment or basically a pool of resources owned by a public cloud provider or public service provider. We have quite a lot, like Microsoft Azure is a public cloud service provider, basically, and you have enough of those resource pooling in there. Now, when we look at into the hybrid, which we're going to also talk about, which is the base of what our discussion is today, and that's you are now staying in the middle of a private cloud and a public cloud. And that means you are leveraging the resources from the public cloud. At the same time, you're still enjoying the benefits you would get with a private cloud. And we're going to deep down into this much further.
Okay. Most CIOs and most IT professionals now they've acknowledged the fact that hybrid cloud approach is the way to go for most businesses, right? So can you help us understand what the benefit is, for adopting hybrid cloud? And how can we take advantage of it, Jide?
Okay, so if we try to look at what the use cases are for hybrid cloud, I'm pretty much certain you would be able to see some of the benefit that comes with it. For some organization, they just want to run in a fully disconnected environment. So what that means is they want to enjoy the benefit they get, the scaling, the automation that happens with the cloud, However, they want it in a disconnected mode. So they want it inside of the environment, a secured environment without access to internet. You have a remote branch office somewhere, and with direct no access to the internet, and you need to have those computing resource run inside of it. It's a very use case for hybrid cloud. Or you've basically got regulatory and data sovereignty laws that are preventing you from even putting your data in public cloud, and basically hybrid cloud is that very good example of why you should do hybrid cloud. Now, if you look at all of this, yes, you tell them, yeah, those are benefits, but I would say those are use cases. As I get to talk about them as use cases, and that's because it gives you that flexibility of being able to take the resources you have on public cloud, the functionalities and all of the benefits public cloud gives you, and bring it down to your own data center and start still enjoying them.
Okay. I have Fumi on the show with me here. I know every once in a while Fumi like to, pop in with, a few questions of ours. But just quickly now, I want to ask, what technologies do we have to make this happen? Do you want to walk us through a few of those technologies?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Microsoft has got quite a lot of technologies that helps you with that hybrid cloud approach and joining. Now we've got the Azure Stack, which I'm going to talk about. So the Azure Stack comes in three different solutions. We've got the Azure Stack Edge, which basically it's more like a machine learning at the edge. It's basically very suitable for edge computing and IoT solutions, and also network data transfer to the cloud. We've got the Azure Stack HCI, the hyperconverged infrastructure, and then basically it's a scalable virtualization and storage. Gives you that flexibility to be able to get your own hardware into the remote branch offices, and also it's an high performance workload. And we've got the Azure Stack Hub, what you know previously as the Azure Stack. This is a cloud native integrated system, and then this can work in the fully disconnected scenario, allows you data sovereignty, and basically with your application modernization. So while we talk about Kubernetes, containers, and the rest of those new buzzing technologies, you want to run that in your own environment. Basically, Azure Stack allows you to be Azure Stack Hub allows you to be able to do that. So think about it when you say you're bringing Azure into your own data center. Azure Stack is that solution that helps you with that. From the Azure Stack standpoint, that's that. Then we've got the Azure Arc. Azure Arc basically allows you to take advantage of scenarios where you are basically running in a multi-cloud environment, or you're running on premises, or even basically running at the edge. So think about it, you're running on GCP, on AWS, and you want all of your resources to be compliant. Azure Arc helps you to innovate anywhere you run. You have solutions running Kubernetes, running on premises, data services on premise, SQL, Postgres, SQL, and all of that. And even your edge computing, so IoT solutions, you want to have a compliance across all of your resources. You want to bring all resources into one single dashboard. Then Azure Arc is that solution that helps you to do that. And that's basically from the infrastructure side. But we wouldn't neglect the security part. And when we now start talking to Sentinel, Azure Security Center, where you could now start to pinpoint threats that happen in your own environment, and also monitoring, which basically helps you with that end-to-end application monitoring, end-to-end server monitoring, and end-to-end network monitoring across multi-cloud, across on-premises, or even edge devices.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jide, for that quick walkthrough. Before Fumi comes up with our own question, we'll need to go on a short break now, and we'll be back in just a little bit. You're welcome back. So you're still on to the Tech Talk show this afternoon with me, Kazeem, and for me, of course, she's still in the building. So today we're talking hybrid cloud, and I still have Jide Jimoh with me on the show. So Jide, for me, it's got questions for you. So I'm going to allow her ask her questions, and we can progress. So it's over to you now for me.
All right, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. All right, so you've been talking about hybrid cloud computing and everything, but I'm seeing the disadvantages here that it may not get all the features, not all cloud services are the same. And we also know that it doesn't mean you should do away with servers, and of course, the bandwidth issues is also there. So how can we overcome these disadvantages of hybrid cloud, and how can it be an advantage to us in case someone is listening and the person is thinking, all right, we have these disadvantages of hybrid cloud, and someone is telling us that hybrid cloud is this, is that. How do you think you can convince our listeners on the essence of this hybrid cloud computing? Hello,
Okay.
Jide, are you there?
Yeah, I am. I am, and it's a great one. I like that question you just asked me, and that's because when we think about hybrid cloud, it basically not has to do with a fully connected environment, and that's why I really emphasized on the disconnected environment. I know the network latency, network high bandwidth, or low bandwidth rather, and high latency. Basically, it's a challenge for us in this part of the country, and that's why your Azure Stack up basically can run in a fully disconnected environment. So what I mean by fully disconnected environment is while it's been set up, so think about it, you need to run your solutions, your IoT solutions, or even your line of business application, basically. And you need to run that efficiently. It needs to scale, and you need to serve your internal employees or your customers, or basically. Yet you still have those limitation of network bandwidth, high latency, and all of that. Azure Stack integrated, Azure Stack Hub basically would help you with that, and you could run it in a fully disconnected environment. So what that means is, while it does all of the processing, and only when you have that access to get into the internet, now start to upload and transfer your data into the internet. So when you think about Azure Stack and all hybrid concept, it's basically suited to solve these particular challenges we're facing with network latency and high latency and network bandwidth.
Okay, so I have another question. Now, you kicked off your conversation with private and public cloud, and we know that hybrid is a combination of both. Now, between private and public cloud computing, which one will you advise someone to go for? Which is the better option?
Sorry, can you come again on that question?
You kicked off your conversation with the private and the public cloud computing.
Yes.
And we know that the hybrid is a combination of both. But for someone who feels, oh, I don't want to go the hybrid way, let me just pick either the private or the public cloud computing. Which is the best when it comes to picking from these two, in case someone does not want to go with the hybrid cloud computing?
Okay. That's a tough one, because it's not based on which is best, but rather which is best for your business. What kind of business do you run? What kind of industry do you run in? And that would basically say, hey, this is the kind of environment or cloud environment you should be running. However, the new technologies you get in public cloud are no match for private cloud. So it's going to take years and years of investment before you get to that same level of what the public cloud has invested. So we think about security, we think about scalability, we think about reliability, high availability, and all of that. You're basically going to be building a massive infrastructure when I'm talking about private cloud. I remember when I was starting, I made mention of what the cloud computing is by the needs definition. So source pooling, service on demand. You need to look at what else? Rapid provisioning, you need to look at shared pool of configurable cloud resources. So when you think about that with the private cloud, then definitely you're going to be building a lot of those resources. But with public cloud, you could just only pay for what you use, and that's basically it. So looking at from the whole economics and from a CTO standpoint and CFO standpoint, you would basically be looking at your capex and opex and which one would best suit your business more efficiently. And I would say public cloud is best suited because it allows you to be able to scale just as your customers come in.
Okay, thank you for me for that great question. So I was thinking we were going to have time for just a little demo, but it looks like we don't have that time anymore. But just before we wrap up now, Jide, do you mind to walk us through an example, or should I say a scenario now of how a business can leverage or take advantage, or how a business has leverage or take advantage of hybrid cloud? In just
Yes.
about 1 or 2 minutes now. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. I can do that. And if you permit me, can I share my screen?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Let me just quickly run through this with you. I'm pretty much certain this would make. Okay. So let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see it, but there are listeners who can't see what you have on the screen, so it would be nice.
I will try as much as possible to explain it for them. Okay, so you have your customer coming in from the public internet, and they're basically coming in through the Azure Traffic Manager, which is a DNS-based solution that helps reroute traffic. Now you could reroute your traffic to the Azure public cloud, where you basically have your Azure function to up with the serverless, or you have your Azure Container Services, Azure Kubernetes, Virtual Network Gateway, Azure Container Registry to host your codes and all of that. Basically, you could have them redirected to the Azure Stack environment, which is your on-premise for the hybrid cloud solution, and you still have that same flavor of Azure Container Services or the Azure Kubernetes, the same Azure Virtual Network Gateway, the same SQL database, and basically you could have a site to link them up. So you could either run them in a fully disconnected environment, in a fully hybrid environment, or in a fully connected environment. So depending on what your regulatory bodies allows you to do, the flexibility they give you to. So it doesn't have to, you don't really have to say, hey, I'm sticking with the cloud, or hey, I'm sticking only with the private cloud. You could have them in hybrid cloud. So while some resources are running off the public cloud where the customers are facing, the back end and the middleware can basically run on your hybrid cloud.
Okay.
So I hope I'm able to cover that in few minutes.
Yes, so I guess we can continue the conversation now on social media. Thank you very much, Jide, for sharing your time and your knowledge with us on today's episode of the Tech Talk Show. So I guess this is how much time is going to permit us on the Tech Talk Show this afternoon. So thank you again, Jide, and thank you very much, listeners. So let's continue to keep safe, and we'll do this again next week. So it's bye-bye from myself and Jide now.